Hello and welcome to the Effigear tutorial on installing a Mimic gearbox onto a bike. First, we will start by attaching the Mimic to the bike. Start by making the holes to secure the Mimic on the bike and the gearbox match. This can be a bit challenging because it is tight. Don't be afraid to push to get the Mimic to fit. Use the 6 M6 screws to attach the Mimic to the bike. Make sure to put all the screws in on both sides. Next, we will insert the shuttle into the gearbox. The shuttle is in a tube because there are springs in it that can fly out. First, thread the cable through and bring the tube up to the gearbox. As can be seen, there are little cutouts in the shuttle. Make sure these line up with the small balls inside. If they don't line up, the shuttle won't go in. Pull gently on the cable to pull the shuttle into the axis. To pull the shuttle all the way, make sure the opposite side has a clip to avoid it flying out. Once the shuttle is completely in, add the clips to the front side. Next, take the cables and insert them into the cable guides. Push the cables all the way in. Then, push the cable guides into the Mimic. On the short side of the cable, you need to insert it into the spring. Push the cable all the way in, and then use the small Allen key to tighten the screws on both sides. Make sure it is very tight. On the other side of the Mimic, push the cable through the cable guide and all the way through. To start assembling the shifter, first undo the top. Thread the cable through the opening and make sure it fits in the groove on the gray pulley. Next, take the end of the cable and push it through the cable holder. Make sure nothing hangs out of the holder. Tighten the top. Then, using the same tool, push the holder into the pulley. Pull the cable tight by giving a couple downshifts and pulling at the entry. To finish, put the top back on. Finally, unblock the spring by pulling on the gray spring tool. Next, we will add the chainring. Start by adding the rubbing ring into the axis. Next, insert the spider into the chainring. To know which side, the chainring is a bit thicker on one side. Insert the spider on the opposite side. Add the spacer to the end of the spider, and then put on the tightening tool. Put the chain ring onto the Mimic and tighten a bit by hand. Screw in one of the crank screws into the tightening tool, and then use a chain whip and a 24mm wrench to tighten the chain ring to the axis. Add the cranks and tighten the screws. The last thing to do is to add the oil. Tilt the bike forward and undo the small screw at the back. Pour the oil in. Add about 3/4 of the bottle into the Mimic, plug the hole with the screw, and tighten with an Allen key. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this tutorial.